So we've talked about Attorney General Pam Bondi, and we've been, generally encouraged, but also very skeptical as far as how pro-Second Amendment she is. Now, one of the things I said when I was talking about her is that one of the reasons I'm not as worried as I could be, I guess, about her, because she's defended some anti-gun stuff in the past. She's done some anti-gun stuff in the past that I wasn't real happy about. But that's when she was the elected Attorney General of Florida. She is now the appointed Attorney General of the United States, which means that she basically has to do the bidding of the guy who appointed her, which is Donald Trump. So she doesn't have as much latitude to be able to, do the things that she wants, I guess. I mean, she still has to fall in line and do ultimately what her boss says. And I think this is a really good example of that. One of the things she's done here is that she put out a memo. It's actually a couple of things happening here. There's actually a few things happening here that are kind of interesting, and all kind of go together. She put out a memo basically saying, hey, ATF, you need to stop going after, gun owners who are peaceable people. We want you to emphasize going after immigration, human trafficking, and transnational gangs. And that's a direct quote. It's exactly what she said in the memo. She wants them to go after, quote, dangerous criminals. And that, again, a direct quote from the memo. Rather than political motivated witch hunts. Political motivated witch hunts.
I like it.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's interesting. And so what's an example of that? Well, there's a couple of things. By emphasizing immigration and human trafficking and transnational gangs, rather than going after, law-abiding gun owners, and getting them all hung up on paperwork.
Trying to shut down FFLs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Biden had a no-tolerance policy for FFLs. Now, it's kind of interesting. There were, before Biden's no-tolerance policy, there were in 1 year about 24 FFLs that lost their license for one reason or another. Once Biden implemented the no tolerance policy for FFLs, that shot up to over 800. Over 800. Now, these were FFLs. They weren't losing their license because they were, arming gangs or something like that. They were losing their license under this no tolerance policy because of a mistake in paperwork or something like that. And we've talked a little bit about that in the past. But going from, it was about in the 20s, 22, 23 to over 800 is, of course, clearly predatory. So she's basically saying, look, and by the way, the ATF was never supposed to be a knock down the door, throw cuffs on people organization. It was supposed to be processing paperwork and collecting taxes. That's what the ATF was originally supposed to do. This emphasis on going after people because the administration that they're under doesn't like guns, that's a relatively new thing, and it needs to stop. And I've said before, I've long said, for the history of the show, the ATF, they are a predatory agency. And anybody working for the ATF is not a friend of the Second Amendment, period, full stop. And what they're doing under Trump through his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is definitely vindication from what I've been saying. It sounded like an extreme thing to say is, hey, this is a predatory agency that are going after peaceable, law-abiding gun owners. It was kind of an extreme thing to say on a podcast or a radio show, but clearly I was right. Clearly what I was saying was accurate. So let's talk a little bit more about the political motivated witch hunts. Now, this is kind of interesting. He wants to. There was another executive order that Trump put out. It was Executive Order 14147, and this executive order titled "Ending the Weaponization of the Federal Government." It's an executive order signed by Donald Trump, the 47th President of the United States, on January 20th, 2025. This executive order directs agency heads to search for previous politically motivated conduct by intelligence, justice, or regulatory agencies, and to make recommendations on how to hold perceived responsible actors accountable. The order specifically focuses on the Department of Justice, Securities and Exchange Commission, and the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Okay, so because of this order, there's a guy named Eric Adams who was being prosecuted. Eric Adams is the mayor of New York. Now, Eric Adams is not a friend of Donald Trump, okay? In fact, he was very critical of Donald Trump. He was very left-wing. All the most recent Democrat policies that you can think of, he was very vocal on, including being very critical of law enforcement. So you'd think, okay, well, this guy would fall right in line with Biden and the Democrats. So what's the problem? Well, I don't know if you remember, but about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he started speaking up on immigration, and he was very vocal. So you have a Democrat who's the mayor of New York standing up and saying, hey, illegal immigrants are a problem. The Biden administration and the way that they're handling illegal immigration is a huge problem, and it's hurting us. Well, all of a sudden, the Biden administration, their Department of Justice decided that, hey, he needs to get investigated. And part of the weaponization of government is they go investigate and find something that you've done wrong, rather than, seeing that something's been done wrong and then going and figuring out who did it. And that's a huge, huge difference. So they had a bunch of accusations against this mayor. They were trying to crush him. They were trying to crush his political career, saying that he was accepting bribes and a number of other accusations that I'm not even going to go into. But he was on the hot seat, and things were about to go really, really bad. And the Trump administration has said, we're done. We're not doing that. This is exactly one of the politically motivated witch hunts that we were talking about. The Biden administration didn't like the fact that he was speaking up and criticizing them for their immigration policies or lack of immigration policies. Therefore, we are going to prosecute him and end his career. And Trump, even though this guy, Eric Adams, is not a friend of the Trump administration, Trump and the Trump administration and his DOJ have said, hey, we have enough character that we want to stop all political witch hunts. We want to stop all abuses of power. And so that's what they've done. So I wanted to talk about that. All those things kind of go hand in hand. So far, Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing a great job. She's reversing. Oh, by the way, the senators, something like 30 senators came out and said, hey, we want you to undo all the things that the Biden administration did do, which is really amazing. It includes the no tolerance thing for FFLs. It included the braces, the pistol brace. It included a number of things. And they also fired the lead counsel for the ATF, which is also related to this. The lead counsel had her hand in all of this. And oh, by the way, she was an anti-gun extremist and was donated to the Biden administration, donated to the Democratic Party, was extremely anti-gun. And she was involved in all this policy making. And Pam Bondi not only fired her, but escorted her out of the building. She is gone. Career over. So they mean business, man. They mean business. They're protecting even their enemies from abuse of power. They are changing the focus of the ATF. They're protecting peaceable, law-abiding gun owners, and I think that that's to be commended. Not with just one executive order, but at least two that are having a great effect. So I'm really, really happy about that. What do you think, Alicia?
I think that's great.
Yeah, me too. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm Michael from Gun Owners Radio. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and make a comment. Help us out. Go to gunownersradio.com. Thanks for watching.